1, 2, 3, 4.
Hello and welcome back to another edition of Lay It on the Table. It has been a while, folks, but I am Joe Mahaffey, if you have forgotten who I am, and I am one of your hosts. And of course, as always,
I'm jumping the gun. That's what I'm doing. I'm jumping the gun. James Englehart here. We're rusty at this, man.
We are rusty, and I take complete responsibility for that. You know, it's been a crazy year, but we are on episode 10. And for those of you astute listeners are out there going, what do you mean season 4, episode 10? I'm only listening to episode 7. Where's episodes 8 and 9, mister? Well, they're in my computer and they are in production and they have some issues. And we've decided we're going to go ahead and put out episode 10. And then you will have episodes 8 and 9 come a little bit later. So you can hear the episodes that we recorded over the summer, which is sort of like we're turning into our professor what we did on our summer vacation.
Yeah, going back in time.
Does that resonate for you there, James?
Oh, yeah, it does. Yeah.
Well, actually, going back in time is very relevant for that video I sent you the other night. Did you enjoy that?
Yes.
So for those of you who don't know what the heck I'm talking about, Sunday morning, last Sunday, did a segment on the reunion of Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter, the original Bill and Ted from Bill and Ted Excellent Adventure. And they are on Broadway, I believe, doing Waiting for Godot. Although the person said Godot. I felt
every time
really bad for the professional journalist that kept calling it Godot.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was very compelling. And so that's the time travel connection here. Yes. No Napoleon.
No Billy the Kid.
No Joan of Arc.
No Socrates.
No. So anyway, for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, go check out Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. That's really the only one you need to watch.
Yes.
But
and I guess go see the little piece about them doing Godot, because that's kind of fun too.
Yes, 100%. Well, that I will put in the show notes.
Oh, right.
So it will be there and they can check it out.
Awesome.
But let's get going because it's been a while since we've chatted. Of course, as always, just a reminder that Mythicon in Charlotte, North Carolina is going to be happening the first full weekend in November 7th, 8th, and 9th, I think. Yes, November 7th, 8th, and 9th. If I could see the small print better, I would have been able to get all three of those numbers. In Charlotte, North Carolina at the University Hilton, which is up near the University of North Carolina at Charlotte, as well as the IKEA, which is another famous landmark in that part of
Charlotte. Great place to hang out, yeah.
And there's a Topgolf, I think.
Get some meatballs.
Yeah, sure. Anyway, James and I have made a strategic decision. We will not be there formally.
Correct.
However, I may be trying to be there just to see people and see some games, and I can't decide if I want to stay the weekend or on a particular day. Got to talk about it with the spousal unit and see what she wants to do. It is not her birthday. Not that I am.
Yeah.
Calling anything out there. In any way, shape, or form. No, all kidding aside, James and I are hoping to maybe think about it in Asheville in the spring, which might be unbelievable, but we're not going to make any promises until we get there. I can tell you that friend of the show, Christina Stiles, is planning on being there. So awesome. It'd be fun just to go up and see her and say hello and do all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's just the Mythicon free advertising because they're friends of the show. They don't pay us and we don't ask them to, and we wouldn't ask them to. But we do like to support the con. It is a con here in North Carolina. And we're hoping that if you are in the sound of my voice, that you can find your way there. Anyway.
Yeah, it's a good local con. It's fantastic.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the local news. Let's get into some of the more industry interesting news. And there were a bunch of articles I read this week. They kind of just gave me a sense of a little bit of turmoil going on in the industry. So I'm just going to kind of unpack them for you.
Okay.
Some are positive, some are negative, some are just sort of ambivalent. So first I noticed that GAMA, GAMA, the organization behind Gen Con as well as Origins.
Right, the Game Manufacturers Association, yes.
That would be the game. Those guys.
Those guys.
They are in growing. They've hired a
Mhm.
new COO, and their intent is to continue to grow the brand and be more of a global organization, which I
Right.
think is really cool because that just shows that, obviously as an industry, this continues to mature. And there's a worldwide interest in these types of this hobby.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that can always bring us together. That's good. I thought that was
Mhm.
kind of, but there are some other challenges going on in the industry that I've seen. Number one, I saw that some Kickstarter employees, which I didn't think about. I don't think about Kickstarters having a bunch of employees, are on strike.
Oh,
At
that
least
is
they were going
news.
to be going on strike earlier this week around October 1st.
Okay.
I'm involved in a couple of Kickstarters as a consumer. I haven't noticed any issues with that, but evidently the employees there have some concerns, and
Mhm.
I don't know if they have an official union or they're trying to unionize, but they are on strike. So that's just
Okay.
sort of a core engine for a lot of how publishers, or particularly newer publishers, kind of get their games out there. So I just thought that was interesting to note.
That is.
Which is interesting when you consider that CMON, I don't know if you say it like that or come on.
Simon. Simon.
Simon?
Simon.
It's not come on?
It's not come on.
Like, won't you come on over, Valerie?
And play some games? No.
Little Amy, little Amy Winehouse for you?
Oh, yeah.
Very little. Um, yeah, so they're gonna lose $8 million this year.
Yeah. I saw that they were not doing well.
And that's on top of losing $3 million last year. I mean, they're back to pandemic level, which I'm given what they've made in the last few years, which has been less. I think their profit has been less than 500K a year for the past few years. Now they're losing 8 million.
That's not, no, those are not good
I don't,
ratios.
I don't even know where they get that kind of money. I mean, obviously I know how accounting works. Math is hard, but
Apparently for Simon.
it's just interesting to see how that they're playing out. So anyway, no real news on that other than some executives are resigning because, well, they're not managing the
Yeah.
company very well. So, and then I noticed that Elf Creek is going through a bit of a reorganization itself because they're
Mhm.
trying to get through some financial challenges and sort of right the ship a bit. And we love Elf Creek,
Yeah.
the Honey Buzz people and those games. And
Atlantis Rising. Yep.
yeah. So anyway, I know that when I got the reprint of Honey Buzz and the new and the expansion,
Yeah.
which they did through Kickstarter, it took a while to get that out, and they ran it. And I'm wondering if they're still reeling from the production challenges of the pandemic. I know we've talked a lot about tariffs and the impacts on this
Right.
industry, but I think both of these stories around Simone and Elf Creek
Yeah.
really predate that, and so I
Oh, I
think
think,
that
yeah. These are
it
much
goes
longer stories. Yeah.
to the, the
Yep.
pandemic. So it's just kind of interesting to see. And I just thought I would call it out because it might be something just paying attention to. Because obviously we talked a few weeks back in an episode that you haven't heard yet because we haven't published it yet about the distributor that went out of business
Right.
or is in Chapter 11, and they're trying to sell off some stuff, and that's obviously going to impact certain consignees. And so there's a lot of juxtaposition between Gamma growing globally and the hobby, as well as some of these publishers stalling.
Yes.
And I think what you're going to see is you're going to see a lot of consolidation.
Yes.
In fact, I think I saw that a publisher is picking up some other games from the publisher of Lewis and Clark.
Right.
It is eluding me who that was at the moment. But I'll have to go back into the notes. But so I think my point is, I think the consolidation has already started to begin. And
Yes.
it'll
I think
be
that's right. Yeah.
see what titles attract the most interest and deals that are happening more quickly. So I don't know what that'll mean for the industry other than maybe production capacity.
Yeah.
But
It's also interesting that we've got both Simon, it's a very large, very active, and Elf Creek, which is much smaller, little group in central Illinois. And both sides of that scale are getting impacted. And,
Well, it's a fair point, and in some instances, it could just be that during the pandemic, um, there was so much interest in board games that maybe people invested in
Right.
capacity that kind of went away,
Mm-hmm.
and I think we see that with the Peloton bike, right?
Right.
The Peloton bike had this tremendous spike, and then once everybody could go back outside,
Mm-hmm.
it sort of dissipated. So
Yes.
anyway, I just thought that that was interesting.
It is. I'd
Uh,
like to go back to Gamma for just a second because I've been
sure,
hearing
yeah,
about
yeah.
one of the things that they're going to do is so frequently they would have promotions at Gen Con and Origin, but at other conventions as well. They'd sort of support some sort of extra activities or was some sort of bonus materials, whatever. And they're going to start doing that now for like game days at FLGSs. Like they're going to support like one day, like play at your friendly local game store kind of thing, and support like the group as a whole. So I think that's aside from them expanding, thinking about because it's the Game Manufacturers Association, it's also like who's selling the most of them. It's hand-to-hand sales at friendly local game stores, and so supporting that that part of the industry seems like a really good move for keeping the grassroots watered and thriving.
No, I love that. That's great. I think that we've seen obviously not obviously. I was in Carolina Tabletop Games the other week. Not a sponsor, but they should be. I had an opportunity to talk to Rob, the owner there, and there was clear, that he's thriving.
Good.
Although he did say September was unusually slow
Okay.
compared to the other months, and I was like, well, football and kids going back to school
Right.
and all that stuff. Who knows what drives all that.
Right.
But anyway, that was just sort of what I noticed in there. But it was interesting too because when I went in there last Sunday, everybody in there was playing Magic.
Oh yeah, there's been a bunch of new Magic sets coming out,
and that's what's continuing to fuel his profitability.
Mm-hmm.
But there's even some decks he can't get his hands on.
Right.
In fact, he went to the Mighty Meeple because they were going to get one that he didn't, with his rank with Wizards, did not qualify to carry, and he was just going to get a personal copy for himself. It wasn't like he was trying to
Sure.
And he went up there and got there before they opened, and then they opened, and there was a line already formed around the building.
Wow.
And the owner of Meeple came up to him and said, "Yeah, we're out already."
Wow.
One of these commander decks or whatever they're called.
Right.
I'm not a Magic person, so I can't speak with any proficiency as to what they are. I think there's a Spider-Man.
That's coming out. Or yep.
But anyway, so nothing against it, I guess.
It does fuel some interest. It is true.
It's like it's not like I'm not bereft of my own hobbies that are like shooting nerds in a barrel.
Right.
Dollar, figuratively speaking, metaphorically speaking, for a dollar figure standpoint. Anyway,
Yep.
and that's probably why my shelf of shame continues to get larger. As long as the shelf of shame doesn't exceed the number of games that I have and have actually played, I feel like I'm in a good spot.
I think that's a good thing. That's a good place to be. I agree with that. Yeah. Staying ahead of the shrink wrap.
It's helpful to have a wife that feels really guilt-ridden if we don't play the game. Even if we just play it once and decide we don't like it.
Yep. So the other big thing coming up, of course, at the end of this month is Essenspiel, which is, not exactly in our backyard and not a, local North Carolina kind of convention, but it is our big one. So I'll be interested to see how I haven't seen any big lists yet showing up, but I always like to keep an eye out to see what people are excited by. So That should be happening pretty soon, I would expect.
If we had a Patreon, we could probably, go to that sometime.
Oh, yeah.
Think the university would see any academic interest of you going over there?
Oh, sure. I'm sure we could make something happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would
Take
be
a steady
I
away. Just go to Essen, somewhere little village, little city in the yeah.
I'm ready. I have these now.
Oh yeah.
The AirPod Pro 3s. I've already got German downloaded into them because my daughter speaks German, as does my personal trainer.
Ooh, okay.
And I want to make sure that they're really saying nice things about me and not cussing at me.
This is good to know.
So anyway, well, let me just because of the way that I did the order here, why don't I jump in with what's on my table, and
Sure.
then we talk about what's on yours.
Well, we can go back and forth too if you'd like.
You can do that. That is also a thing.
Yeah.
So I talked about this last time that we met, and nobody heard it. Trinket Trove,
Mm-hmm.
a little card game. Dale and I played this, I don't know, a few weeks ago.
It looks
And
adorable.
well, it is adorable, and it's really easy to learn. And we like it because it's small.
Yeah. Right.
We like it because it's easy to get out, and you can pretty much play it anywhere. I
Awesome.
bought when I bought it, I bought this mat that you can get as an option. It costs about as much as the game, quite frankly.
Okay.
That helps you know where to put the cards. You don't need the mat.
Right.
You can just get the box and just kind of lay the cards out. I did, however, I designed and 3D printed an insert for the box to hold the cards and
Awesome.
the little pieces in certain places, just to kind of make life easier for me.
Right.
It is on, you can find it on Yegi and Printables. I do the Creative Commons license because I don't want to make any money on stuff that I design because it's usually just very simple for my own purposes. So you're welcome to download it for free. You're welcome to remix it and make it better than it is. You just have to say, I got this from Joe.
Yeah.
It's the only credit I want.
Very cool.
So I'll try to remember to put a link to the show notes in that as well. But anyway, it's very much you have a bunch of cards. You take out 6 cards and you kind of put them down to the side, and then that is your counter of rounds.
Oh, okay.
And then as you kind of lay out your tableau, you've got cards. Your opponent has cards. There is a third person, just in case it's just 2 of you. It's one of those weird mechanics.
Right.
What you're trying to do is based on you're using your cards to bid as to who gets to choose cards off the tableau.
Okay.
And when you're playing 2 people and there's the third person, he generally is in the first position or the second position. And you can take any from the top that you want, and then you can take any from the bottom of what we've put down as a bid, but you cannot take your own cards unless that's all that's left when it's your turn.
Oh.
And what you're trying to do is build out certain types of pairs. So, for example, a button might be a card,
Right.
and 1 button is worth zilch. 2 buttons is worth 5. 3 buttons is worth 20. And so, but not all of them increase with more. Some of them you want to limit your capacity. So there might be a needle, for example. So think about these are mice collecting little trinkets
Right.
that they might find in a house, like a button or a thimble or a pen or, what have you.
A gear, a lure. Yeah.
Exactly. And so they have these things, and then you may get, so I'll use the lure as the example. Maybe you only get 2 lures and it's worth 50 points. I'm being ridiculous. It's not that much, but that's it. You don't want more than 2.
Okay.
And so you're thinking about, okay, what do I have in my hand? What am I willing to bid out of my hand and just deal with the fact that I'm not going to have it anymore while I get something else that I see on the board that I think I need. But do I need to bid higher than who I think she's going to bid, or because I don't want that to go away? And the other factor is when you have that bonus person that's the little mouse that's sort of like the rat, if you will.
Right.
If he's in the first position, or in regardless of his position, he always takes the highest value pair remaining on the board.
Okay.
So if the thing you want is the highest value and you lose to him, he takes it off the board before you get it. And so you have to keep going through the round. And his stuff just gets discarded. You don't get anything back from him.
Right.
All of his play comes out of the deck. So I'm anxious to play it with 3 or 4 people just to see how it plays out, that dynamic. But it plays very fast. 6 rounds goes by very quickly. If you're looking for something like, hey, we got 30 minutes we want to kill before we got to go out or we got to make dinner or what have you,
Right.
it's on the table very, very fast.
Yeah, it's just the cards, it looks like, and those little tiles for the characters.
Correct. Plays very, very fast. Easy to learn. Some great videos out there on how to play it. And so yeah, Trinket Trove. And honestly, it was, I when I talked about it the last time, I put it in the game that Dale found.
Yeah.
It popped up on her Facebook, and she said, "Hey, what do you know about this?"
Nice.
And I'm like, I think because you said that, I better order it. Is what I think about this.
Awesome. Yeah. No, it's super cozy. And it looks like some of them, if you get 2 or 3 of the thing, you get, like 5, 10, 15. The 4th one gets you 0. The 5th one will get you 90, but good luck maybe getting that 5th one.
Correct.
Yep. So you're the little push your luck in your collections a bit.
Yeah, and there's some other. I'm trying to remember the other game that was like that had that kind of similar mechanic. Yeah, in fact, I think I think Jamie Segmeyer did a video on his favorite mechanic from that game. I think it was that.
Okay.
I'll have to look it up again.
Yeah, it's a clever little twist. I like that.
Yeah, and it's not that expensive. I think it's less than $30.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
that's good.
So it's an easy get and an easy learn and an easy play. And yeah, so Trinket Trove, check it out. I think it's a good gateway game. I think it's a good game to play with kids and introduce them to that. If you've maybe started off with Sunday Surprise, you can take it up a notch with Trinket Trove, and give them that card action without the expensive magic.
Yeah. Good fun stuff. Well, let me jump to my first one here. That's a 2025 game, so that is fresh off the printer. The first one I've played recently is The Red Cathedral, which is 2020, and that's a Devir. It's still available, so it's got legs, so that's nice. And it's also, I don't know, it's solidly medium, maybe medium plus kind of weight. You are, as the title suggests, building towers of the Red Cathedral. So it's a very Russian, very lovely sort of Russian-inspired art. There are the towers all set out, little cards that you go. They'll have different cards will come out, different configurations depending on the number of players, and there's more cards than you'll use, so there's always going to be a slightly different setup. But you've got bases, middles, and domes, and on a turn you're going to try to grab one of those sections, and you can have more than one person building in one of those towers, which is great. You claim a bonus; it gives you a ongoing bonus, and it lets you sometimes take extra actions or get extra materials. And at the end, you will score based on the value of the tower, but it's also majorities. So you want to be in that place. You want to have first or second place in there to really get the points that you want. The interesting thing about this, so that's interesting, right? The final scoring is kind of what's been built out, what kind of decorations it has, what it's all worth, and then if you have the plurality in the piece. And then the other thing, how you're doing all this is there's a central dice-based rondel where you pick up one of the dice, whichever one you want, move it the number of spaces based on the pips that are shown, and then you get resources wherever you land, a little segment of 3 based on the number of dice. So you could get 1, 2, or 3 of whatever the resource is, and then you re-roll all those dice. So it has kind of a rondel, almost a bit of a Mancala feeling, and yeah, you go there until you've, I think, placed out all of your banners and somebody has built all of their sections, and you go around a little bit more, but then that's it, and you score. It's pretty straightforward if you've been playing games for a while. It's a little bitty box. It's over here behind me. You can see we've got Tribes of the Wind, the traditional Ticket to Ride size. World's Fair is a little bit smaller, and this little, the Red Cathedral, even smaller. So I love that they have packed a ton of game into this box, and with lots of variable setup. So every time you play it, it's going to be something very different. So I highly recommend. A quite a step up from Trinket Trove, but it's still available. And yeah, really just a nice, once you get that movement going, you're like, okay, and lots of great decisions of which die am I going to pick up? Where is it going to end? What am I going to get? Yeah, some really good decisions there.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
Now, when you say it's got that Russian feel to it,
Mhm.
how does that, does it, I mean, is it really historically accurate from that perspective, or is it just sort of the motif?
A bit of both. I
Okay.
mean, it's it's a full on Euro, so this could have been probably any number of other little building projects you might want it to do. But the art
Yeah.
and this kind of sort of Nordic Russian art style is really quite eye catching. And you've got like the church is one of the places that gives you resources, and you've got peasants and people. So it's they lean on that pretty well.
Well, that makes sense. I mean,
Mhm.
we know, like, it was funny, when I was in the game store last week, um, he has a copy of the Whiz Kids, Tales of King Arthur,
Oh, okay, yeah.
which is basically a complete reskin of the Arabian Nights in terms of the
Yep.
game, but it's just a new thing. And so you get that whole piece of, reimagined games,
Hmm.
and they play with a different theme,
Yep.
which kind of leans into the other game that we played,
Ah, excellent.
which is Everdell Silverfrost.
Yeah.
So I had backed this, and it was on the shelf of shame, and we were trying to decide which one to get into, and this one has got a lot of the typical mechanics that you would expect, um, from an Everdell game, where
Right.
you have so many meeples that you start with, and each season you get more meeples, but there's a level of complexity that comes with each season.
Hmm.
So, if you're familiar with the Everdell series, this is not an expansion. It is a sequel. It is a sequel that takes place in the wintry part beyond the winter expansion of Everdell. So you're way from there, but I guess it was I guess this kinda makes it like the Yellowstone version for board games. There's
Yeah.
93, there's 1880, whatever. Anyway, um, no, but it's the same mechanic. But what's interesting about it is, you have one player that's your ranger,
Okay.
and these little snowshoes on your ranger. So it's, the
Actual
same
snowshoes?
yeah, there's the same wooden meeple feel, and then they give you these 4 plastic snowshoes that go on your, uh, your one meeple that becomes your ranger. And what's interesting about the ranger is, if somebody is in a spot that you wanna go, and you have your ranger, you can still go there.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Both of you can be there, unless the person that is there is one of your players.
Ah, right.
There
You
is a
can't
res
be in your same place. Okay, got it.
And then every time you move a season, you have to take these cards, and where you are in the season dictates the number of cards that you take, and what the cards tell you is where you put snow. And so
Oh,
on the
okay.
top of the mountain, there's a bunch of snow, and you cover up things that must be taken away before you can go there. So you have to have fire. And so there's fire components that you have to collect.
Ooh, okay.
And then the later the seasons, the more snow there is, therefore the more fire you need to eliminate the snow. So it gets very complex.
Ah,
So there's some barriers that get in your way.
right.
Um, it can be very easy to get fire if you think about it.
Okay.
And then there are these big monsters that can help you. They're like friendly yetis and stuff like that.
Oh,
But to get their help, you have to light a fire. And if there's snow on the place that you need to light the fire, then you have to use that much more fire, um,
to
to get
melt
it
the
lit. So
snow.
basically, it can randomly the cost of the what you need could go up outside of anyone's control. And then the other thing is that when you get these cards, you also are beholden to put snow on your village cards, because you're just like in Everdell, you're building your village, and it's got the same mechanic of limit of 15, and you're building it out, and there's critters, and there's different things on there that gets you points and value as you go through. So all that still exists.
Awesome.
But you are required there, it is compulsory that you put snow on your city. You must put it on the highest value card. And then
okay, yeah.
And at the end of the game, if anything is still covered in snow, you don't get to count it.
All right.
So there's that. So there's a lot of, you're playing Race the Clock. Where's the snow? What season am I in? How do I got to get rid of it so I know I can get these points that I'm working so hard for? So there's a lot of different moving parts to it.
It sounds like it's quite a step up from basic Everdell.
Very much so. And instead of the tree, you have to build a mountain.
Okay.
Which isn't that bad. The Kickstarter version came with a wooden mountain, so I can get the wooden tree.
Oh, right.
But you got to build it.
Okay.
I'm really hoping that somebody.
There it is. Yep, I see it. A assembled 3D mount. Yep. Oh my lord.
Yeah, it takes up the table. I mean,
man.
We had our game toppers table set in 48 by 48 mode.
Mm-hmm.
After playing this game, I was like, we're putting the middle piece back in and making it 48 by 72. Because there's really not enough room to play on a 4x4 table.
Right.
And
that
plus we have
monster.
Well, plus we have that 22-inch round Lazy Susan that we on there, and it hangs off of that. It's with the board and the mountain and all the pieces, but it comes in a really cute, the packaging is really good. I mean, it's got, the game tray feel for dropping stuff in, and it
Nice.
packs up really tightly, which I like. I like a game that packs up.
Yep.
Super tight and all that. So yeah, I mean, it was actually, when we got through playing it, we looked at each other and goes, we really should get Everdell.
It's a good system.
We have Everdell Duo, which we played when we were in Mexico, Dominican Republic.
Okay.
And all of my original Everdell sets I gave to my daughter because I got the big box when it was the Kickstarter.
Right on.
And we just haven't gotten back to Everdell, so that's still sitting in the shrink wrap.
Well, time to bust up in that shrink wrap.
Yeah, so we got to get that out and put it all together and
pop some frames.
I would probably have more room on my Kallaxes if I actually opened up some games and then put them back all in together where they go. Anyway.
Yeah, no, that'd be good. So that's another 2025, right? Because that just came out. Is that about right?
I feel like you're judging me.
No, I'm quite the contrary. I'm going to go back in time. I guess it's a time travel thing. Yeah. So we're covering both the newest and brightest, and then also revisiting past hits. So the other one that I've been playing, Laura and I played this a couple of times, which plays better 2-player than you might expect, is Tribes of the Wind, which is 2022, so not that long ago. Still available. Okay. It's La Boîte de Jeu and Lucky Duck and others who did it. It's Joachim Thom is the designer, and you are playing in the post-apocalypse. The collapse has happened. Everything's gone to hell. Now you're trying to rebuild it. It's a card-driven game, so not unlike some of the other ones where you're using a card to gather water, to move meeples, to play down forest tiles, which you need to rebuild your area that's been destroyed. Build temples, because I guess why not temples? And then there's pollution that's kind of presumably left over, I guess, from the apocalypse. So you have to clear that off before you can start building forests. If you get enough workers on a tile, so you need those forest tiles, put your workers on there, and then poof, it turns into a tree village that kind of has really strong Lothlorien vibes, right? Like, oh, I'm on my flat kind of thing. But the key thing that is driving this is the cards, and they sit kind of upright in stands. So, think like a Scrabble tile, display thing, right? But it's cards. So you can see the backs of the cards all have different suits. Like let's see, there's leaves and fire and air and water. So there's 4 suits. And the cards that you play require you to have, or the people next to you, so your left and right, have that particular suit. So you might say, everybody needs to have green. If they do, then you can play this card. Or you have to have none of that suit. Or you have to have more than the person to your left or right. So it's a pretty unique take on card management. It's kind of fun that way. And it moves really quickly. There are the forest tiles you need to do. You get some bonus cards and different tiles. So there's a lot of replayability because the way these things come out and get displayed, right? That's the thing that you do with cards. But the game loop is really easy. You're either going to play one of those cards. You're just really going to play cards and occasionally like build a village. But it's really pretty. It's got Vincent Dutrait art. And it's a nice kind of medium light sort of game. Once you kind of get your head around the iconography of, if I have more than them, if I have more than one person next to me, then I can play this card. If I have more than both people next to me, I get a bonus kind of extra special version of the thing, and you're just tracking that stuff. It's not The Red Cathedral has more interesting choices, but this one has a much more straightforward gameplay. And it's, super fun. You get to, rebuild the post-apocalypse. It's nice.
That is nice, and
Yeah.
the artwork on it's really nice. I'm sitting here looking at it, and the way I
Yeah.
like the stands and all that. I think that's a really nice.
It has a nice kind of glow behind it that Vincent Dutrait kind of manages. I don't know how he does that, but it looks really pretty.
Yeah, well, we have a number of card stands. I have one that's there. I have a set of 4 that are like half circles,
Oh, cool.
and I have 4 that are like just long
Yep.
and different colors. Everybody can kind of pick their one that they want, and then the game table that I have has got little inserts to hold your cards. So we're always,
Nice.
having our cards stand up, and it's, when we're playing a game like Wingspan or Parks or something like that, you can always tell, all right, this is what I'm willing to get rid of. This is
Yep.
what I need to keep. This is what I'm putting out on the board. Or,
Yep.
but keep it all secret because nobody can see it but you.
Yeah.
Which is kind of nice.
Yeah, the only trick with this one is that you have to be sure to be able to see the backs of everybody's cards. But yes, we do the same. Like, okay, this is the next card I'm going to play, so I tip it sideways. And the little stands are kind of flimsy. So if you had a much better solution, that'd be awesome. But yeah, it works.
So the next game I say we've played,
Okay.
got it on the table, is not necessarily 100% accurate.
Joseph.
We got it on the table. We got it set up. We got a few rounds in, and we're like, yeah, we need to come back to this. So I am talking about the game Hamlet.
Oh, yeah.
Alas, poor Yorick. I knew him, Horatio. Oh, wait, not that kind of Hamlet.
I was going to say different Hamlet. It looks like, yeah.
Different Hamlet. Yeah. So it says here, when you think of a village builder, you sometimes think of a card tableau or a static hex tile grids. Well, this is different than that. In fact, when I look at this game, it kind of reminds me, it's clear to me that the person was inspired by Carcassonne.
Okay.
And there's a number of mechanics in here, but the net of it is you and everybody playing, and it just, you can have up to 4 are part of a village that is really a hamlet. And what you want to do is get a church so you can become a town.
Aw.
So based on the old English standard of what's a hamlet or a village versus a town had a church or a cathedral.
Oh, okay.
It's that kind of motif. And so you're trying to get the resources that you need. So there's base resources that you turn into refined resources. Once you get the refined resources, you can buy, and you have those resources available. You can create parts of the building that need to complete the church. And then once the church is fully built, then you write up all the points. And sometimes there's, one of the reasons I left it on the list is because, there are games that you look at and you're just sort of judging the book by the cover and going, yeah, that looks like an interesting game. I think I want that.
Yeah,
So you back to Kickstarter and you wait and you wait and you wait. And you forget about what inspired you because it was so long ago. And
Yep.
it finally shows up and you're like, oh yeah, I forgot about this. Now remind me again why I thought this was. Yeah.
Why does this look cool? Yeah.
So was it midnight when I did this? Was I sober when I said back? Anyway. So it's a pretty game. It's got, the mechanics kind of reminds me of Carcassonne. It's got a mechanic in there that kind of reminds me of Isle of Cats because you're putting tiles in the bag and you pull them out randomly.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing about it is, and we're gonna get through it, is that it's one of those games that is hard to really get the what am I supposed to do?
Get the flow of it going. Yep.
We had, the book is not really helpful.
Yep.
And the videos that we found were from when everybody had the pre-manufactured copy.
Okay.
Some rules have changed, the mechanics have changed, and it just took us a minute to use our board game EQ, if you will, to discern what was the right way to play. And you kind of get a couple of rounds and you realize, wait a minute, I think we're doing this mechanic wrong. Hold on a minute, and you try to find that answer. So anyway, pretty game. Meeples are cool.
So the tiles. Tell me more about these tile shapes.
So they're not. So I said that reminds me of Carcassonne, which are all squares.
Right.
These are variants. You have hexagons. You have some trapezoidal kind of shapes, and each shape is a place in the village or the hamlet. It could be a dairy farm, it could be a grist mill, it could be a woodcutter's place, any of those kinds of things. And because there's a pathway that's kind of built there, they either must connect to that pathway to be a part of your hamlet, or you have the ability to create a pathway or a bridge.
Okay.
Access to it. So you have your meeples are basically, you get some meeples and you get some donkeys. So you can make waffles, of course.
Oh, sure. Yes.
Donkey. Sorry. Right. Anyway. So as long as you have a donkey, you have the ability to move things beyond the tile next to you.
Okay.
So the donkeys are where you put the donkeys and when their purposes are when you get these resources. So let's say you're at the dairy farm. And to get this piece of the church built, you need milk and you need a brick. So you got to go to where the raw materials have become the refined materials. Milking a cow does not necessarily put it in a bottle and say, here's your milk.
True.
So once you have those refined resources, then you can buy what you need to put the church in. And so it's that kind of thing. So the game can go on. I think they say on the box it's about 45 minutes per person.
Oh, okay.
I
was not expecting that. Yeah, it says 25 to 100 minutes. So yeah, that makes sense. Because you can play it solo. You can solo it. So that, up to 4. So yeah, that'd be it.
So that was so that was sort of the thought process behind it. From my standpoint, we've kept it on the table. We're going to play it again. Then this is sort of the frustrating thing is, they give you this, you get this Kickstarter, you open it up, it's the deluxe, it's the founders edition. And what did they do to help you organize the game? They gave you cardboard that you have to put together as a puzzle that basically created this frame that's very flimsy until you can get it into the box.
Yeah, I see there are several guides on the Geek here about what it's supposed to look like.
Guess what? There's a 3D print, and that's exactly what I did. I 3D printed it. It's in there. I don't have to. I threw all that cardboard away.
Yeah, good call.
I was done with that because I was like, nope. Because my thing is this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go on a rant.
Okay, appreciate it, sir.
I want inserts that are designed in such a way. In fact, Jamie Stegmeyer has a great video on his blog about 10 things you should know if you're going to develop board games.
Mhm.
One of them was the inserts and how you pack things so that things don't fly out all the place there in the book. And he gives some examples of where he did do that well and some examples where he failed on that. Great video.
Cool.
I like it when I can put the game and I can have it stood up vertically on the shelf, let you see the artwork, right?
Right.
And that things inside are not just falling to the bottom. And that thing that they gave me for the insert was just I was always gonna be a mess. And if you spend more time having to get everything organized just to play the damn game, then you're not gonna play the game.
Yep. No, that's true.
I always try to organize the game. And if it doesn't have one, I'll look and see if there is one. And if not, I'll make one just to make sure that when I want to play this game, I can get on the table fast.
Yep.
And that was a deficiency with this game. So we're going to play it again. There is an expansion to it called By the Lake. Okay. And the inserts that I printed allow you to put all of the game and their expansions in the box.
Oh, that's awesome.
So there you have it. Hamlet.
On the other side of things, what?
There was no Ophelia.
No Ophelia. I did like. I was looking at the pictures. It looks like they have like interiors, like you're putting the church together, and you're putting and you can see like the interior. It's super cute. I mean, that's a nice little attention to detail. Seems like they could have spent more time working on the box insert than that little bit, but
Well, it's funny because they give you in the Kickstarter version, you got blocks that were so you get a 3D representation of the church, whereas in the base game, it's just the rooftop.
Cardboard. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, okay.
And the thing about it is, they published the stickers that you had to put on the blocks to make it look like the church.
Okay. Yeah, that.
And I was like, you screen printed on the meeples, but you made me do the stickers on the blocks. That was a little frustrating for us people that are not always the best at certain detail oriented tasks.
This is a funny one, yeah.
Anyway, so I ranted a little bit.
It's all good.
It's nothing against the game, but
there's some challenges there.
There's some challenge.
So yeah. What you got?
I said, please continue.
Oh, good. All right, sir. Right. So I'm going to jump to a whole different place. Valley of the Kings from 2014. Tom Cleaver's designer, AEG. It's out of print, though a new Ultimate Edition is supposed to be out. It is cards. It's a basic deck builder with the Egyptian theme. So the box insert is just make sure the cards don't hit each other. So that's whole different thing. Not a lot of stuff going on. It's just a really early pure deck builder. Dominion was 2008, and this is 6 years later. Got an Egyptian theme. You're playing cards to buy more cards to use the card powers to do something amazing. That's the deal. There's two little twists. The first is that you have to. The only cards you can score are ones that you entomb. So during a turn, you can start to entomb them, and other cards will let you do that. But then you don't have access to them, right? They're out of your hand. They're entombed. So that's great, and you're using that to do a sort of set collection thing, but you're like, but I really like this card. It does amazing things, but I can't score it if it doesn't go in here. And so there's that moment you're trying to judge, like you and your, the person across the tables from you, like, oh, are they starting to entomb things? Ooh, I'm behind. No, I've got to. Yeah, so you're thinking about that. And the other fun thing about this is the market, because you've got a market for a, deck builder. It's a pyramid. Inevitably. And there are 3 cards at the bottom, then 2 middle, then 1 top. And when you pull a card from the you're always buying from the bottom of the market there. When you pull one, the rest of the pyramid sort of collapses to fill that space. So you can manipulate which cards become available to you or don't become available to your opponents based on, where you're letting these things collapse. It's kind of fun. Yeah. It's kind of it. It's a solid deck builder. It's a little bitty box. It's this little box over here, behind me on that shoulder. And it's
the box looks bigger on on BGG.
Yeah, no, it's yeah, it's just about that size. No, yeah, it's like, 2 poker deck kind of size, so 2 poker cards. So it's yeah, easy enough to drop in a bag and whoosh. And there's supposed to be again an ultimate version or something coming out sometime this year, maybe. They've got a space on Board Game Geek for it, but there's no information there, so there's no telling.
Hmm.
And it's a nice one you can just drop on the table and start playing. The other one that I've been playing a lot of, Laura has really glommed onto, is another one from 2016, from Renegade Game Studios, from Alex Kevern. It is World's Fair 1893. That is, of course, the World's Fair in Chicago that had the
Right.
murderous thing going on. And you are an impresario at the Chicago World's Fair. But the game is not about the serial killer. It's about setting up exhibits and trying to get people to buy tickets. And it's really interesting. It's a sort of a Moncala thing plus area majority. So you're playing one of your cubes. This is how you know it's a Euro game. So you play a cube out to an area. There will be cards in that area. You pick up all of those cards and you display them. And then you play 3 cards off the deck that starts there where you just picked up, and then it goes around the rest of the board. And if the next area is full, then you just go to the next until all 3 of these cards are distributed. Sometimes you'll find that you'll put down a card in that first place where you picked up. It'll go around, and you'll put the next card down there too. So, and what you're trying to, so one of the things you'll get is midway cards, midway tickets that will move this little Ferris wheel car, because the Ferris wheel, also 1893. Yep. And when it goes all the way around the Ferris wheel, that'll trigger a scoring. They'll do that twice for the mid game and then once more to end the game. And what you're doing is hoping that you have the most cubes in in a couple of different areas, so that you can turn the cards that you have into tiles that then become a set collection game that you're trying to do. It's really smooth. It is rules light. It's got a lot of great decisions about where you want to place cards, where you want to place cubes because you want to get these cards, or you want to stop the other person from having a majority there. Like in the green, you don't need any more green cards, but you really don't want your opponent to get any more green cards, so you'll grab those green cards. Or you're starting to fall behind. You're like, oh, here's one that has like 4 of those midway tickets. I'm going to zoom this thing all around the Ferris wheel and speed this game up. So lots of different ways to kind of think about it. Yeah, and some, lots of cards. So it'll be very different each time you play because the distribution of cards, right? But Laura and I have been playing this a lot.
Yeah.
It works well 2-player, and it moves quick.
No, it's interesting. I've seen this in the stores before, and I
Mhm.
see that Amazon's got a exclusive version
Ooh,
with a different box than what you have.
Huh.
Yeah, it looks like one of those, leather-bound books you'd get at Barnes and Noble. There's like a collection of Sherlock Holmes.
Oh yeah.
Looks a lot like that, but no, it's. But I'm just looking at it. I've always been curious about this game, and it's one that I think that might find its way on my shelf somewhere.
Yeah, it's.
to be
I
played,
mean, I'm
'cause
looking at
sometimes the game.
So, all right. I mean, looking at the Geek page, and it's like, it's a 7.1. That's cool, and a very lightweight at like just over 2, which is a nice kind of combo. Like this will go quick, but there's enough decisions to really keep you interested.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, that's what we like, about the games that move pretty fast like that. But at the same time, this is the kind of game that I can share with like my in-laws, and they'd go,
Yep.
"Oh, this is really interesting." This is where the artwork is interesting and draws people in. I mean, I see this like the Otis Elevators card that's demonstrated here, and just thinking about sort of those things. I like that it's got that historical element that kind of keeps the thing interesting. I'm going to
Yeah.
talk about something in a little bit that kind of has that same flavor.
And what's really nice, what's kind of
Very
fun
cool.
is there are special
And
power
then,
cards that are all actual people from that time. So they really lean into that history a lot.
Very cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was looking at some of those cards. They have some examples like David or Daniel Burnham and
Mhm.
stuff like that. That was pretty cool. So have you played any old games lately?
If we're going to go way back in time, I taught Laura how to play backgammon. She's like, oh yeah, let's look at that one. So we've been playing backgammon a lot. She likes to call it her quacks, because I went on a 40-game losing streak playing quacks at Quedlinburg, and Laura cannot win at backgammon so far. It's kind of hilarious. So, but it's a great, it takes 15 minutes to just roll a bunch of dice and move checkers and boom.
I don't think I've played backgammon since the 1970s.
Yep. It had a moment
and considering
back there,
it says the reason, even that, well, I'm looking at the BGG phase and it says backgammon negative 3,000 years ago. So how old is the game? Well, it's over 3,000 years old.
It's an old one.
Great.
It's a classic. Yeah, but it's still available, as it turns out.
But the weight's only yes. I think the under multiple brands, I would imagine.
You could make your own if you want to.
But hey, you know what? But here's the thing. It's still available, and there's a Watch It Played.
That's fantastic.
There is a Watch It Played instructional video. So what more can you want from, Rodney was like, I'm going to make this available.
Now I want to see him flip the box for that. That's the thing, to see what that box flip looks like.
So I'm going to bring this up just because we're on this game and we're having this topic. So my wife has a guilty pleasure.
Okay.
Her guilty pleasure is the TLC's Sister Wives television show.
Okay.
Are you familiar with this show at all?
Oh yeah. Never seen it, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So long. And I'm not going to get into the show. All I'm going to tell you is that in this season, the children of one of the couples is moved from Utah to North Carolina because he is a chess coach, and evidently North Carolina is a hub for chess. And I'm like, and so she's like, we got to figure this out because I've never heard that. So I'm just kind of curious to see what that is. So I'm going to say about it. If I learn more that is of interest, I'll bring it up. But
please do, yeah.
Evidently, tonight's episode, Elsie is going to somehow clarify what this means. So I will report back if it is worth back reporting. So it sounds like we both have had a lot of busy things on our tables.
Mm-hmm.
I will call out a couple of things that I've picked up. I didn't back it, but I bought Horrified Dungeons and Dragons, and it showed up this past week. So it's
awesome.
It's actually still in the cardboard box. It's not only still in the shrink wrap, the cardboard box. That's how quickly it came. And I just have, it's, it came like Wednesday, Thursday, and it's, life. And then I also picked up Wormspan Dragon Academy, the expansion to the Wormspan world.
I've seen good things about it. Have you had a chance to?
I picked that up.
Yeah.
No, I bought it. It came and it's on the shelf. I'm staring at it right now. But no, I haven't had a chance to get it out and do anything with it. I've already told you what else I've got going on. So it's just been, we're still trying to carve out every Sunday, learn a new game. Although today she's like, we need to go to Spirit Halloween.
Oh, well.
So we'll see if we get back. Yeah,
Sure.
But I'm not going to be here on Halloween because I'm officiating the wedding of our friend Shane.
Oh, hey. Oh, that's so good to hear. That's awesome.
Yeah. So there will be a dice roll to see who gets to go first.
That's fantastic.
In the vow department. In the vow department.
Yeah.
What they do beyond the vows.
Whatever dice they want to use later. It's all them. Yeah.
Decide who goes first. That's fine. Anyway, they actually probably listen to this podcast, and now we're going to get in trouble. And then there's a couple things on Kickstarter. The people who brought us Botany and the Gardens of La Rococo card version, not the other version that's coming out through
Right.
another provider. I probably said La Rococo wrong because I can't say it. They have a new one out called Endearment, which is unlike the time I got corrected from our friend with the Obsession game that it's not Jane Austen. This is a Jane Austen game called Endearment. It is still in Kickstarter mode. It just
Okay.
fully. No, wait a minute. Is it still in Kickstarter mode? I can't remember if they collected my pledge or not. I think they collected the pledge. But anyway, Endearment is out. Is on Kickstarter. Also, I backed the last and final expansion for Distilled.
Oh, okay.
Which is also going to give you some things to kind of organize the game a little bit easier. And then speaking of Obsession, what I believe is going to be the last and final Kickstarter of Obsession will be coming out by the end of the month, and he is adding to it a playmat and a big box to kind of get everything in one box, which would be useful.
That would be.
So there will be another bite at the Obsession apple later this month in October. I think he's been waiting to launch the Kickstarter, and he's waiting. And this is what I love about him, is such a credible guy. He's like, I don't have the sample pieces that I want to do the videos that I need to do, or the photography that I want to do to launch the Kickstarter, and he's not going to launch it until he's got all the things in place. So I love that that's his MO. And look forward to supporting Obsession for the big box and the playmat. I think the playmat alone will, make it easier. And he probably has a few more surprises up his sleeve.
I'll bet.
There. So more to come on that. And then lastly, I was at church last week playing bass, as I do on occasion, and my wife and I, we worked with the youth in our church for a long, long time.
Right.
And occasionally some of the youth will come back, and they're married now and they have kids and all this stuff. And one of the youths, I know I'm doing the whole thing. Yeah. One of the youth.
Yes.
Lives in Florida, and he's got a real job, but he and his wife have bought a company that they're running, and it's basically puzzle mats.
Okay.
Puzzle mats that you can get on Amazon. The name of the company is New Everest. And if you look at the if you scroll down there on that link, I think the person holding the box might be his wife. I don't know for sure.
Gotcha.
But anyway, yeah. So this is obviously to be puzzle savers, and so he and I were talking. And in fact, I might even invite him to come on this podcast, because in addition to doing puzzle maps, he's got a poker mat for Texas Hold'em and a blackjack, but he wants to get into the board game thing.
Yeah.
And I even said to him, the biggest challenge I see is that there's no manufacturing capacity for board games in the United States.
Right.
And he was like, I wonder what that would cost. So anyway, at the very least, they may be diversifying into some board game support. I sent him some information. I sent him some videos from Jamie that I thought would be useful for him to kind of learn about the industry, including that video that I quoted earlier about top 10 things you should do as a game designer. And I sent him the link to the Game Toppers so you can see how they're doing their tabletop mats and stuff like that. So I'm curious to see if it evolves. So more to come on that.
Awesome.
But that was kind of cool that, a youth that I'd worked with a long time ago. And he's a very talented guy. He was the drummer in the band. He was a tap dancer, and he spent a couple of years as North Carolina's Mr. Dance. And he went to a national competition, and Dale and I flew out to Las Vegas to watch him hoof. I mean, we literally took 24 hours. We flew out to Vegas. We watched this big production, and then we flew back to Charlotte.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So good guy.
Yeah.
See if I'll talk to him and see if he wants to come on and maybe share sort of what his vision is. But he said I do these puzzle things. Like, oh, do you work with Ravensburger? And he's like, no, but I know who they are. So okay, so we started this common vocabulary. So that was kind of a cool thing. Anyway, so I don't know. Puzzles are not board games, but they rhyme. I don't know.
I mean, puzzles, games, toys, they're all, yeah.
But that's all I got this go around.
All I got.
Well, in that case, James, I am Joe Mahaffey, and I'm not bored. I am bored gaming. Sometimes.
Joe, I'm James, and I hope that all your tiebreakers break your way.
Me too.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, y'all.